guys, so today I wanted to give you a 1-year update of me using the Clinique Step Anti-Blemish System. Now, if you have seen my other updates, I did upload them quite far apart from each other, but that's only because I lost the footage a long time ago, so I thought that I would just upload all of the different weeks of the updates as soon as I managed to find them. So I stopped doing updates after I think about week 4 or 5, I stopped doing updates on it, and that's just because I just didn't really see much difference happening in my skin after all of that time. But I think that because it's a year since I've started to use the Clinique Step Blemish System, that I thought it would be a great time to give you a review and let you know if I think that it's working and also if it's not. So the good points and all the bad points. Now, there has been a lot of things that have changed since I started using the system, and if you have seen on my first video, I'll link it down below. I'll link all of the updates down below for you. But if you looked on the first update, basically I was using the normal blemish system that you get, so I was using the mini version. So I think that there was about 4 weeks that you get in each of the kits that you get. So the first thing that you get is the cleansing foam, the second step that you get is the toner, and the third step that you get is the clearing moisturiser or treatment. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's pretty much a moisturiser. So I did use that for 4 weeks, and I purchased another one because I did see a little bit of a difference going on in my skin with that one. And I have to say that things have changed a lot since I started to use it. So I don't use a cleansing foam anymore. If you saw on my first update, I did say that it smelled a little bit like sick. And to be honest, if you're putting something on your skin, you don't want it to smell like sick. It's just not very nice. So that was the first thing that I noticed when I put that onto my skin. The scent was just a little bit weird, but then you do get used to it after a couple of weeks. And the second step that I used is a toner, and I really did like the toner actually. The toner was pretty much my favourite part out of all of it, and it had a slight scent to it. It wasn't like crazy, but I did notice that if you put it onto your skin straight after cleansing using cleansing foam, then it could start to sting a little bit, but I wasn't too bothered about that. I do have sensitive skin, so a lot of things do irritate me, but it didn't sting to the point where I absolutely hated it. And then the third thing that you get is the moisturiser. So I did actually use this as an all-over moisturiser, and I have to say that it didn't last very long at all. I think you only get a 50ml tube of it, and to be honest, that's the thing that was used up the quickest out of everything. I think in the little box of the kit that I got, it took me about 2 weeks to use up the whole of the moisturiser, and then the other 2 things lasted 4 weeks, which is not really good if you think that you're spending about £20 on a kit and then it ends up being that you use one thing up in 2 weeks. It's just a little bit stupid. So with this kit, I did use all of the products twice a day, every single day for a whole year, so I didn't miss any of the days. And at the same time when I started using it, I was actually on this pill for my acne, and it was called Gederal, so I was using that as well, so that was helping out with my acne. That was prescribed by my dermatologist, and I think they worked really well all together. My blemishes weren't really coming through that much, but it did get to a point of this summer, I think it was probably about April, May time, when I looked at my skin and I was like, my skin is breaking out horribly. I thought that it was just because it was humid, and it was just absolutely disgusting. My skin was so oily, my face was so red, I had blemishes everywhere. So what I did is I stopped taking my pill that I got from a dermatologist, so I stopped taking the Gederal, and the first couple of days I didn't really notice any difference at all. Bearing in mind I've been taking this pill for about 4 years now, so I didn't really notice a difference much because I just thought that my skin was getting used to it, my body was getting used to it. So I stopped taking that, and I noticed that my skin was breaking out really bad for a couple of days after that. It was just ridiculous. My skin was red and blotchy, and it just pretty much looked exactly the same as when I was 16 years old. So I was still using the Clinique Step system twice a day. Every single product I was using twice a day, and I was doing it the same as what I normally did. And then I also added a couple of things in with it as well to help get rid of the blemishes. Now, a couple of things from the system have changed for me putting them on my skin. So the reasons for that is because they either were used up super quickly, or because my skin just didn't feel really nice and soft. It didn't feel like it was getting clean. So I still use my Take the Day Off balm, which I've used for ages and ages and ages, and that takes off all of my makeup, and I've never had an irritation with that, so I know that that's not breaking me out. And the first first step of the kit I have changed up because I felt like that the cleansing foam just wasn't really cleaning my skin or anything like that. I didn't feel like that my skin was nice and clean, and I just didn't think it really worked for my skin at all. It just pretty much smelled a little bit. So I changed it up using the Clinique Anti-Blemish soap, and I have noticed that it does feel really nice on my skin. My skin feels really nice and soft and clean and so smooth, and I really do like it. And another thing with the cleansing foam is that it was being used up very quickly. I think it took me about 4 weeks to get through a whole cleansing balm, and I think that's absolutely ridiculous because when you think that it's £20 for each item and then it decides to be used up after 4 weeks, you have to purchase a new one every month, which is ridiculous. And when you think that you have 3 different products in the set, that's 60 quid that you have to splurge out every month, and I just didn't really feel like that it was worth it. And then the next step that I have kept is actually the toner, and that's because that's my favourite part of it, and I just feel like that my skin gets really nice and clean, and I feel like it's actually doing stuff to my skin and just cleansing it, so I like that, and I've kept that, and I've been using that for the past year, so I haven't changed any of that up. And the last step, which is the moisturiser, I have changed that. The reason for this is because I was using it up probably about once every 3 weeks. I had to go ahead and buy a new one of the moisturisers, and that's ridiculous. Like I said, it costs a lot of money, and after 3 weeks of having to buy another one, it's so stupid. Because when I think of me buying all of the set, the thing that used to last longest was the toner, and that used to last me about 2-3 months of me using each of the toners, so it did last a very long time for those. And then the other two just decided that they were gonna be used up very, very quickly. Now with the moisturiser, I wasn't using a hell of a lot. I was using a pea-sized amount, which is what you recommended to use all over your skin. And I also noticed that it didn't really tingle on my skin, it didn't really feel like it was doing anything, so I changed it up using the Blemish System. So I'm using the Blemish Balm, I think it's called, or the clearing system, I'm not quite sure what it's called, but I'll link it down below for you. And I'm also using the Moisturiser as well. Now this is sort of a light / medium moisturiser. I do feel like that it's really moisturising my skin. I do have an oily T-zone, so that's why my skin starts to get a little bit horrible and oily, and it works really well on my skin. I mean, it doesn't really do a lot for the oils, but it just feels really nice and soft, and it feels like it's actually doing something, and it tingles a little bit when I put it on my skin. So every night I use my Take the Day Off balm, I use the soap, the toner, and then I go ahead and sometimes I use the Blemish stick, and I also use the clearing treatments as well from so use the moisturiser and also the clearing treatment from it, and that's what I use every night. And then every morning I use my soap, my toner, and also my moisturiser, just so I can get all 3 of them together. So I have noticed that my skin doesn't really look much different. I think it's actually worse than when I first started. Now, if you don't know my acne story, when I was 16, I had really bad acne. It was all over my chest, all over my back, all over my face, my neck, my arms, and it was absolutely horrible, and I felt so self-conscious with it. And it wasn't like little spots or anything like that. It was like really big ones, and they were really yellow and really pussy, and it was just making me feel really self-conscious. So I decided to go to my dermatologist, and he prescribed me some things. So I'm gonna skip back to what I was talking about before. So I decided that my skin was sort of getting used to the pills that I was taking, and I don't think that it was working very well, and I have to say that was a very, very big mistake, because my skin is breaking out like crazy. I have acne all over my chest. I don't know if you can see. I have acne all over my chest and on my neck, and also on my back as well. The back was probably the first place where I got it, and they're not really small, they're quite big, and I don't know, I just still feel really self-conscious. So I'm back on my pills. So I'm going to zoom into my skin so you can see how my skin is reacting and what it looks like after a year of using it. I am really self-conscious of it, I really don't like it, and I just feel like it's almost as bad as when I was 16 years old. I just don't really like it. I'm 22 and I have acne, and it's just not really that nice. So I'll zoom in so you can see. So I've toned down my lighting so you can see what my skin looks like a little bit more, because I feel like that with the lighting it sort of doesn't really show a lot of the redness or a lot of the acne. It just sort of covers it up a little bit more than what I'd like to show you. So I'm showing you exactly what my skin looks like with absolutely no product on it, and this is my skin after a year of using the anti-blemish system. It doesn't really look any different from my first time of using the anti-blemish system, or even before I was using it. As you can see, my skin is still really red and blotchy. I have a lot of acne all over the bottom of my chin and along here. The worst part is all around the bottom of my face. I don't know why, but this is where I get the most of my acne. So as you can see, it's really red. There's a lot of stuff there, and it's just not really going at all. And even on my forehead, it's not really that good. And right here is where I normally get a lot of the blemishes, but as you can see, my cheeks and my chin are horrendous. Look at this. This is absolutely horrible. I can't seem to get rid of it no matter how much product I put on it, and it just feels horrible and just looks really disgusting. So I don't really like my skin at the moment. I'm not really happy, and I just thought that I'd show you guys what my skin looks like because I've been trying this system out for a year and I just wanted to give you a good review of it. So now that you've looked at what my skin actually looks like, I'm going to give you my final conclusion, and my conclusion is that at the moment I don't think that it's actually working. I don't think it's done much to my skin. I think that the whole reason why my skin was clearing up was because of my pill that I was taking, and I don't know. So I stopped taking my pill and I was using this system religiously for 2 times a day, and I just don't think it's working. As you can see from my skin, it's really red. I have a lot of acne. I think what I'm going to do is not keep buying all of the set because I just don't feel like that it's working my skin. I've started taking my pill again, and hopefully it's going to clear up my skin as good as it was before. I'm also going to book another appointment with my dermatologist as well to see if he can prescribe me anything else to help with my acne, but I just don't think it was working for my skin. At the moment I do feel like the getting rid of acne is all from the inside to just clear it out, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick to using my anti-blemish soap because I did hear from a lot of studies that if you just use a bar of soap and water and then a moisturiser at night time, it works amazingly for your skin. I did use a little light gentle facial exfoliator from Garnier. I think I use this probably about twice a week to just get rid of all of the excess oils and things like that, and I don't think that anything else is just going to work, so I'm just going to stick to my soap, my moisturiser, my blemish stick, and also my exfoliator. So if you guys have bad acne, or if you've had it in the past and you know how to clear it up, or if it's cleared up for you, please let me know because I will try anything to get rid of my acne. My skin is horrible and I just really want all of the blemishes to go, and I just don't really feel comfortable at all. So just comment down below to let me know, and I hope that this has been really helpful for you guys as well who suffer from acne like I do. So make sure that you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video, guys. Bye!